ground from Hutchie, good mobility and positioning. And you can see there, no real investment due to the lack of funds. You have Get Right on a CZ with light armor, you have a Deagle out on res, but outside of that, not too much to talk about. Dennis with a P250. Just hoping for 1 or 2 kills in this game. A bomb plant would be sublime.
That would definitely be the dream. A couple of kills alongside it, the icing on the cake, but Vega, they are going to go peeking up long in the form of JR. Crosshair, poised, ready to strike, does miss out, but some information has been gathered at the very least. No reason for any rotations at this stage for Vega. Can stick exactly where they are. They don't have connector control though, so NiP can easily funnel their way down to B if they so choose.
I'm going to use the connector. They are going to do that. Look at the rotation from Vega. They have 3 players at the A bomb site at this point. Only 2 defending B. And as we saw in the previous round, you never know how a round can change when the Deagle is able to ring out. Just 1 kill can change the entire nature. I don't even know if Hutchie spotted feet there. It seems like he might have an indication. The smoke and nade. And yeah, he called it out. There's already rotations happening towards this B bomb site. You can see Tony Black on the minimap pushing up for a flank.
Solid Molotov. Definitely would have heard Lekro burning on short side. Now Tony Black's going to take his opportunity to take connector. So even if NiP can pile out onto B, there's going to be the Orc spray down from the backside. Triple for Tony. And Vega have got their triple. They're back to 3 apiece.
Not even taking too many losses in these rounds that they've won either. I mean, that round, no one falling, and that's going to help out massively in the money situation. So AKs are back in the hands of NiP. Get Right's going to be light on utility, but everyone else is pretty much safe. Pretty good kit of nades for the Ninjas. That's a very nice flank. You can see, I mean, Vega, the B defender is very smart, just using their utility, stall tactics, Molotov down at Sandbag, smoke nade, and monster. NiP had to wait for that to clear.
Oh, didn't do as much damage as expecting there. Dennis only took a couple from that grenade stack.
Yeah, I think he was past the point where they threw those nades. They might have expected something slower. But good on Dennis, and hearing those 2 nades goes off, he knows the chances of someone being long is low. So takes the opportunity to gain a little bit of extra ground for his team early on. But a very passive default setup, as we've come to expect from the Ninjas in this match so far, all spread out across the map. Need to be careful about where that AWP is. They need to be careful how they use their utility as well. They only have 4 flashes, 3 flashes now, and 2 smokes. Which means taking this section of bathrooms is going to be tough. They're going to have to take some heads-up fight, and that's exactly where the AWP is.
Plus the bomb's been dropped towards the T spawn, so even if they do make a decide to dash and try and procure one of these sites, it's going to be quite some time. Decent trade though for Forrest, looking for a second. Tony Black's not going to allow that to happen. Molotov to his left-hand side is going to make it hard for an avenging kill just yet. Even though he's gone down, they have whittled away some more of that time. 30 seconds with just 1 smoke and flash to play with.
Oh, all of Vega's here. They jumped on the rotation, and it's a good call. Dennis looking for someone to come through this smoke. He's stalled out just a little bit longer. NiP is dedicated to this A bomb site. It's a 4-on-3 here, and the Ninjas need this round.
Crush has been spotted by Dennis. So important to get the kill. Now here comes Chopper with a Desert Eagle, who's a beast, but can't quite rinse and repeat with the Orc. So NiP will finally get themselves a rifle round and take the lead once more.
Yeah, they snatch it back. 4-3 in the favor of the Ninjas now. Full investment coming in for Vega. They've got 1 more buy before they're broken again. And NiP, if they can do it here, this would be a very solid T-half already. It's got to feel good as well. I mean, a lot of the conversation around NiP heading into this match was, we know they haven't shown us the level that they can play at. Everyone needs to step up in this game. On many different fronts, they have a solid performance out of Rez in these first 7 rounds. He's got 7 kills. Get Right with 5, and even Dennis has hit some nice shots. Get Right did not want that fight whatsoever.
I suppose that's one of the strengths of having best of 3s for elimination and progression matches, though it does allow teams to get their teeth into the game a little bit more. As you mentioned though, Get Right down to 33, but a chip damage to Rez and Dennis. Again, NiP not really pushing the aggression, pushing the tempo just yet, but at some point they're going to need to, otherwise Vega are just going to hold on to their nades and know that no fast action is going to be coming their way. The Org's in position, and once again it's a 3-2 stack. Vega Squadron, 3/4 of a minute to go.
The nice thing is they have control of the short water. Hutchie and Tony Black, a nice little crossfire here. That's an easy kill for the AUG, and the follow-up as well. Getright's going to try and make his way. Remember, low HP though. He does not have the health to take a fight, but he wins it anyways. Now Hutchie against the wall. He's completely blinded, but so is NiP. Buying time for his team is Hutchie. Still trying to take the fights, and that was a bit too wide. That was a bit overexposed. But the rest of Vega has arrived, and Chopper with this MP9 can do some work.
May not be required though, because JR comes in and finds himself left where the bomb has been faked. And out comes Dennis to his demise. Vega straight back in with a round of their own. Gonna really hurt that economy once again.
They avoid the reset. They actually inflict a reset upon NiP, who's sitting just below 3,000 on a couple players. Dennis has plenty of money, but not enough cash to be able to buy up. And we're going to get a timeout here out of the Vegas side. They want to make sure that they can sustain this kind of a victory. Only 2 players surviving. They still don't have a lot of cash, even with the upgrade to the AK-47. There's not a lot of money behind this purchase, and that's the interesting thing is actually, I mean, NiP has the money to get 1 or 2 rifles, and they could actually even buy some pistols around it. Dennis has already bought a Deagle and armor, though, and he was the one who had the money for the AK, so I think they might, with that already occurring, choose to play conservative.
Yeah, I suppose from NiP's perspective, it's still fairly early in the half. They've already got 4 rounds. It's not a bad foundation at all. They can get another couple of rounds. They'll be in pretty good shape going through to their CT side.
It's all about how tantalizing. They know the money's low on Vega, right? It's all about how tantalizing that prospect is of getting a reset here at 4-4. I mean, it would be a tough round to win with what they would have been brought into it, but sometimes we see teams make those decisions. You can slingshot a few more rounds off of it. Oh, through this smoke, this AUG is going to chew him up. There's 3 kills. Going to go for a 4th. JR, he's got the pistol out now. Getright, just a Glock, can't do anything. Dennis does trade it off, but the damage is done. Now you can only hope for 1 or 2 more kills.
Would still be pretty valuable, though, if Dennis can maybe take 3 players with him in total, so 2 more. And as you say, I mean, the economy isn't fantastic for Vega. Ooh, flicking across the Hutchie's face. Maybe a bit of a mistake to overextend like that without anybody else to help him out. Does seem like a bit of a free kill.
Probably is, but I mean, you know, when you're in a 4-on-1, you always feel extremely confident, especially when you know he has the Deagle. But yeah, the risk is what he got that time. Taken down. Dennis could even get 1 more. Now if he gets 1 more off this, and this 1 versus 3, that's a very good round for NiP, all things considered. He's even got the AUG that he's picked up. This could be magnificent.
And remember, he was the player that got the armor as well. He was on around $4,000, $4,500. So Deagle armor at the start of this round, so aim punch won't be an issue. They had a player in connector, so they know that he hasn't rotated down there, at least not from the middle part of the map. Maybe back towards T-spawn, and Tony Black's peak is perfect. Still, nice try by Dennis.
Yeah, he's going to be happy with the 2 kills, especially considering it was, you know, he got those in a 1-on-5, so not too shabby at all. AK's starting to come out for the Ninjas, and back in the money. That's the kind of round, if you're JR, you're just loving life. That's the one where you're just like, yep, I could take those all day long.
Stats padded, ADR soaring.
Hell yeah.
Love to see it. But here we go. NiP do finally have the AKs in play. UMP on Lecro. And this time JR's going to mix up the pace. He's playing more aggro, and the early nade damage is brutal. It's Getright again. Just 13 health remaining in the first 15 or so seconds. I
didn't catch it, but I'm assuming there was some kind of a boost to give him that damage. And yeah, maybe a Molotov, maybe a nade that rings in as well. That's tough. He's actually lost out on a couple of the early duels over towards this B bomb site. And actually right there, maybe just a half second away from losing his life. Pretty solid mid-round peek from Hutchie out towards long. Oh, Dennis, you are insane. Not expecting the aggression, not expecting them to be halfway up. Knife was out. A good find for Vega early in this round, and NiP can't even respond. No one in position to get anything out of that. You have GetRight essentially dead. Very little utility, only one smoke on the Ninja side, so this round is going to get so difficult.
And the worrying part of this too is that in terms of rifle rounds, NiP have only won one.
Yeah.
They got the pistol, they got the subsequent 2 rounds after that because Vega were playing more passive.
A third round, we can count that as a rifle round.
Sure. But in terms of the rifle rounds, they have been really struggling. Lekro going to be taking point, 30 seconds left, just a few flashes and a smoke to play with, but he has pierced the head of Chopper, which is going to give them a lifeline, albeit a fleeting one. As now Lekro's also been tagged down heavy. Rez, the player they desperately need to deliver a big performance here, has found himself a kill, but there's simply nowhere near enough time to posture anymore. They've got to force the bomb down. In doing so, Rez is going to take some damage from the Molotov. Just 50% remains, but he's going to be switching across to the head of Crush and is so close to clutching this round. It's one bullet will seal it up, and Rez makes soup out of Vega Squadron. That is a nutty clutch.
What a hero. We called him out in the pregame. We've called him out and said he needed to perform, and that is a huge round. Trapped inside the bomb site, players at different heights as well, coming out of the smoke. Those 2 kills, the one up at the balcony and the one on the ramp, that's a thing of beauty. What a great round, including the entry kill onto this bomb site as well to bail NiP out of a 4-on-5. Excuse me, that was Lekro, but still, huge performance, huge clutch for Rez.
What a time to do it as well. So much on the line, the balance of economy, back and forth.
I mean, screw that, go bigger, Vince. The entire major on the line in this series, and he performs like that in the opening map.
Absolutely. Good way to start things off. Confidence building. Currently 97 ADR for the youngster with 11 frags. Tony Black, though, also almost identical stats.
Yeah, they are going blow for blow, aren't they? That's not bad at all. Haven't seen Tony Black have a clutch like that yet, though.
Yes, not quite the same impact.
Rez has the edge. And we got a shotgun. Shotgun CZ, 2 SMGs. Vega's out of money after this. Blowing that door open with a nade can be a little bit scary if you're the terrorist on the other side of it. Obviously, you call that out and you don't know if it's going to be followed up by any kind of aggression, especially if you only have a UMP. You're not going to be interested in taking any kind of a peek. GetRight's going to get some action as well. You'd imagine they're going to flash through the smoke. There it is. And GetRight needs to fall away, but they are going to continue to push and swarm. And now they have a lot of information. NiP so far back across the map, they can't actually react towards A to gain some ground somewhere. That is a good play from Vega.
Can really see the cogs turning in the decision-making there for the CTs. Hasn't yielded a kill, but it has got some vital map presence. And when your weaponry is this weak and poor, that's exactly what you're looking to do. Rez, in the meanwhile, the hero of the last round, could be getting flanked momentarily. Hutchie's making moves. He's going to find a completely vulnerable Forest. No one watching Connector. It is going to cost them a life and potentially the round.
Yeah, they just lost. I mean, Lekro had to fall away from that. And look at Vega. They are just infiltrating this map like cockroaches. They're everywhere. Hutchie gonna be able to get one more. That is an immediate headshot onto Dennis. Rez has to get aggressive on him, and he does win that fight, about half HP, but they still have Tony Black flanking from behind. Rez is never going to expect this. That's the bomb as well. GetRight comes back, finds the kill. His teammates have all gone, and the aggression from Vega across the map. This is just NiP not being aggressive at any one point during that round, and Vega's going to take advantage of that. At some point, NiP has to apply pressure.
Exactly. This is something that we mentioned a couple of rounds ago. NiP have constantly been so slow in their approach that eventually Vega were like, look, we don't have great guns. We got some SMGs in play. Why not push the aggression? Why not take the fight to the T's?
Which worries me a little bit, because when you're playing this passive and you're looking for that aggression, I mean, if your plan is to play this passive, then you cannot take damage from a push up those stairs from the door. Like, the entire point of playing that passive is to prevent early round damage and prevent damage from flanks and CT aggression. And just miscommunication, losing track of that one vital part of the map. Allowed a kill up the stairs, allowed the flank up the ladder to wrap around towards the B bomb site.
This round is going to be quicker, but of course it is just full on Glocks. It's not like they have too many other options. Just a case of playing the waiting game now for Vega Squadron.
Well, I mean, it's also a case of NiP knowing they're about to head to the slaughter. They have no utility. They only have Glocks. And there shouldn't be a chance in hell that they win this. Now they spot one. That nade can do massive damage, but this crossfire should be enough.
Yeah, indeed it shall be enough. Crush. A bit late, but at the end, it is going to cost them 2 lives. Make it 3. This is now getting into the realms of possibility for Forest, albeit with 18 health, but we've seen him pull off crazier plays than this in the past. With so much on the line, is Forest about to become... Oh man, I started to believe there. Jason, I actually started to believe.
I did as well. That is wild that NiP came that close. And again, the money they've taken away is so valuable because NiP can get a reset here down the stretch at round 13 if they win this. And that might be enough to give them an 8-7 lead at halftime. We'll have to see how it pans out. Rez and Dennis have not won an entry duel. Those two players, we saw the phenomenal clutch out of Rez. Struggling to find the openings, but not so much with the closing.
It is pretty damn rough on the T side of Overpass. We'll have to see here if JR and Crush can once again claim connector for Vega Squadron. So far, that flag is well and truly planted firmly in the ground.
This is so dangerous though. NiP, again, the staircase control goes over to Vega. That can be so deadly. It's going to be a fast flank. Although now that they get that one kill, good kill from Lekro, it's worth his death. They're able to clear it out, and that's a peek from Forrest. He can't land the shot. A 3-on-3. Now 2, and the bomb is not planted.
Yeah, peeking 2 players without getting the bomb secured first. Could come back to haunt the Ninjas here. The player advantage now goes firmly in favor of Vega, and to make matters worse, Tony Black is on the prowl. He can smell blood in the water. Dennis gonna spray, can't get it done. And the flank not even required. Vega hold on.
NiP really struggling when they've had those chances to get an advantage, to get the momentum on this T side. 5-8 in the favor of Vega Squadron. Tony Black with 14 kills, Crush with 12, JR not too far behind that at 11. Pretty solid performance, and yeah, you mentioned it earlier, the gun rounds have been all Vega. All starting at round 4. Remember, that's when Crush with the Deagle kills 4 inside of the A bomb site, all on his own. To win that round, to steal one away from NiP. Not only did they steal the round, they stole all the momentum.
Timeout called. Just try and muster some master plan of how NiP can bounce back. Again, 5 rounds wouldn't be the worst case scenario, but they'd love to get 6 or 7 here. Probably feel hard done by if they don't after winning the pistol. More than half their rounds on this half have been off the back of the pistol round. And I believe in the desk they actually talked about Vega only winning 1 pistol round so far in all of their matches, so that poor stat continues.
Well, it hasn't hurt them too much here. All things considered, I mean, they rebounded quite nicely. And NiP, ever since those first 3 rounds, they've won a round and lost immediately afterwards, so we've seen a lot of rounds of NiP with Deagles, with Glocks, with P250s, and not a whole lot to fight with. This is a half buy. This time, everyone's got an upgraded pistol. There's 4 players with armor, so a bit more danger, but no utility. Get Right gets caught long range in a duel with an AUG, and actually pretty admirable that he even did that amount of damage to it. That needs to be traded, and it is. And with his teammate's death, JR is going to fall back, stem the bleeding. And that's an AUG passed over to NiP.
And again, it's the man that so nearly pulled off a miraculous clutch that has it in the form of Forrest. His stats haven't been fantastic for this game, but he's got a lot of big kills when they've been required. Rez, of course, his ridiculous clutch earlier on. Making a move on the short side of A. Trying to whiz past Bathroom, see if they can catch one of Vega, looking for information. But to be fair to Vega, they've been very disciplined. They're playing more of a passive defense this round. Nate goes over, does quite a bit of damage. Have spotted the player back at bank, which will be JR. Speaking of the man, he has been slotted by Lekro, but the damage is brutal for NiP, and they simply can't handle it.
And those AUGs stand far back as well. Hard to find those with the Deagle kills, and a great decision by Vega to stay that far back. Probably assuming with the half buy that they would have very little utility, if any, and they were correct. 9-5 now, heading into the last round of the half, and That half purchase was just so that this round NiP could have the AK-47s. They got 5 of them. We haven't seen the AWP on this T side, which is, I guess, fine. They haven't really had a whole lot of money to play with, have they?
Yeah, they've been in this perpetual state of half buys and rummaging together some AKs with a lack of utility. You'd hope that that would change on the CT side for NiP, but they will get some AWPs in play. JR's had a few, had a bit of impact with them. And again, NiP, quite a slow start, and it's just playing into the hands of Vega Squadron. 2 early picks. And yes, get right. He's going to get himself one in return, but Forest has been decimated elsewhere on the map, down to 19. And this is looking like Vega will end the first half at 10 rounds.
It's going to be desperate unless Rez can step up to the plate one more time. And again, Vega's going to execute this long strategy. This mid-round aggression. Oh, I don't know how JR missed that, but Force is going to have no idea. He's going to check to the right. Not even at all. Nice movement on this defense. A very mobile, adaptive defense from Vega Squadron. And they find themselves a good lead.
Excellent positioning across the map as well. It's going to be Hachi to close down the half. It will indeed be 10-5 in favor of the Russian team.
Yeah, they have a good lead, and NiP without some mid-map, mid-half heroics from Rez, this could have been even worse. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll finish up map 1. $10-5 lead for Vega Squadron at half, switching sides. NiP is going to be on the defense. We did not see very much aggression out of them on their offense. This defensive side from them has to be great. They might be able to take advantage of a Vega Squadron that's had weakened pistols. Well, let's see. They'll have to carry it out throughout this entire half. This is an elimination game. The loser goes home. The winner plays again tomorrow for a spot in the major.
One of the reasons Overpass is such a great map, in my opinion, is you can play aggressive on the CT side. So let's hope the NiP do it, because they were so passive on that T side, it was quite unbelievable.
Maybe they took notes from Vega. Maybe they're like, oh, I like those pushes. Vega had complete control from their CT side of that staircase pretty much whenever they wanted it. Here we go, Get Right, playing with the smoke out, just waiting for the Molotov to come in on a B execute, but it's not going to happen. There's a big stack from the Ninjas towards that B bomb site. 3 players there right now. Dennis was cheating over to play in balcony. Rez wants to make an information play, but he's got to be careful. At this point in the round, Vega could be anywhere. They could be close up, and if he's looking the wrong way, they're about to turn that corner along. He's going to be in some trouble out in the open. Oh, he responds, but there's no chance he gets away. They're going to push forward, and if you're an IP, you got to let him play on his own. That's a great first headshot. He would love one more, but he can't get it. Slowly tapping away, trying to find one more frag for his team. Now you start to see the rotations coming in.
Yeah, fouling attempt. They don't have connector control, though, so there could be a case of an over-rotation coming into play. Hutchie is playing the interference. He is trying to bait as many of the Ninjas over to this side as possible, while the rest of the team closes on the B side. And they will be getting the B site. The bomb will be getting planted in a 3-on-2 retake with Get Right pretty low. Just 48 health remains for him, and he's been spotted in heaven with a smoke in his eyes. He's going to have to pull back.
What a sick call from Vega. How decisive was that? They saw the opportunity, they seized it. Lekro's USP is in JR's hands, and it's doing work. Get Right, 1-on-3, not going to happen, not even one. Triple kill for JR. 11-5 now, and Vega have grabbed a commanding hold of this map.
Such a sick call. 40-odd seconds left, no connector control for NiP. So they knew they could rotate down to B.
That's the aggression we never saw out of the Ninjas, not from a player. Hutchie wins this round, just getting into the A bomb site, caution to the wind, make something happen for your team. He saw an opportunity, saw a gap in the defense, and he made the most of it. Dennis couldn't stop him inside the site. At that point, they believed it was going to be an attack on the A bomb site, and Dennis felt like he would have overextended if he swung out too wide. Investment in the second round for the Ninjas. They need something. That is a good tag with the scout. Hutchie down low with that MAC-10, and those pistols can easily clean him up.
Absolutely, that's a great passage of play for NiP. I also escaped some full health. It was a bit unfortunate not to get the kill, wasn't far off the head. That being said now, NiP are playing more aggro. Dennis, just outside connector. Rez still peering from short side of A. It's a solid smoke, though. He's not entirely sure as to what's coming up from Vega Squadron. They could be pushing aggro, so he's going to have to bide his time, and he's wrapped around to long A instead. But of course, as we have the benefit of seeing Vega are nowhere near, they are making a move on the B side of the map.
It's all right, though, because NiP have a decent amount of information. They know there's no presence towards long. They have Dennis in the staircase or right by it. He's not hearing anything. There is one player watching for that. The only thing they need to do now is what they're doing. They're rotating Rez over to get a stack at this B site. Here comes the hit.
Lekro's going to need some help very, very shortly. Otherwise, this site is going to be completely overrun with terrorists. And Chopper comes in for the first significant damage to Forest. He has to wait. That grenade's going to claim his life from Chopper. And now Rez, who started the round with damage on Hutchie, is going to have to finish it off with this scout. Does get a bit of help from Get Right. And now this is getting a little bit awkward for Vega Squadron. Oh, that was so close. A weakened Chopper will just about best Get Right on 7 health. And now Rez on 45 is going to have to try and retake. He pulled off a sick clutch in the first half. This may actually be better, but it's not going to happen. 12-5 lead.
So close. Good recovery for Vega into that bomb site. Chopper with 4 kills. They've had some players step up in big ways when it's needed most. And NiP, even with 3 players there, couldn't find a way to get 2 players on the point of contact. And Chopper's able to sit far back and land that final kill. His 4th, as I said. Full utility, couple MAC-10s. JR sticking on the deagle to preserve economy. NiP, they're down 5-12. They actually invest a decent amount, a couple P250s. They have nades all across the board on 4 players. And yeah, that might hurt for the first gun run, but you can understand exactly why they want to do it. They need some element of danger in this round.
The terrifying prospect here too, Moses, is this is the choice of NiP. Overpass was their decision.
It's not looking like a wise one, is it? I mean, the desk also did mention that this map pool, Sean was talking, it works out perfectly for Vega Squadron. Expressed some concern for the Ninjas in that sense, and They're proving him right at the moment. The bummer of this for NiP is, with JR with no weapon, with just a deagle, with the 2 MAC-10s, Vega have plenty of tools to use to scout out any part of the map they want before they commit to it. That nade stack is designed, if they come through Monster, to just blow up 2, 3 players. You congregate in that choke point in that area as if you attack, but if it's only 1 MAC-10 coming through, those nades are not going to do anything.
Absolutely, and as soon as the player sees the barrage of grenades firing their way, the call will come that A should be clear, and Vega will pounce upon it. As they're finding out right now, Chopper, with 25 seconds left, starting to make inroads towards the site. Molotov's going to go down just to be absolutely safe and secure.
If you're NiP, I know it sounds crazy, you might as well just save. You bring those nades into the next round. They're going to try and take out the planter, but these nades aren't going to go anywhere. That's over towards the truck. Actually, great damage on a Tony Block. They've got 1. That could be the entrance, but it's still such an uphill battle. They have a flank from Lekro. That's going to get eliminated. And the rest of them should get chewed up as well. This MAC-10 at close range, I don't think they can do anything against it. They would take an incredible shot, jumping around the corner. Chopper doesn't even let him have it. Massive damage on the 2, but they're still doing some work. Actually, this went much better for NiP than I expected. Forrest is going to find that. No chance of winning. He doesn't have a kit, and he's got no HP. The best he can do is take this AK and run. Crush has him beat.
Yeah, I was hoping that Crush was maybe bank along somewhere like that. Unfortunately for Forrest, he wasn't.
That is a good effort from NiP, all things considered, though.
Definitely.
But good efforts don't really do a whole lot at this stage of the game. You're down 8 rounds, 5-13. You need those wins.
Yeah, the good effort doesn't somehow half the deficit of 8 rounds.
Yeah.
It's still very much there.
You don't get points for trying.
They do, however, get some more grenades for some of those kills that they picked up. So it's going to be 4 Orcs, 1 M4, couple kits sprinkled in, with plenty of nades. And it's good to see that NiP are going to be a bit more aggressive in this round and take the fight to Vega Squadron. It could backfire, though, because the nades are starting to fire in. Dennis, not going to get wrecked off the Molotov, doesn't spread to his feet just yet. But look at how aggressive Vega have been through Connector compared to NiP. They're already throwing Molotovs into the site. They're already dispersing.
They're already forcing out counter utility from the ninjas, so eventually when they do decide where to go, they'll have a much easier time. 1 smoke left on NiP with 1:10 left in the round. Munchy's going to take a bit of damage, some response to his spamming. That'll at least force Vega back for now. They have the bomb towards the B bomb site. They don't have any control over towards A. Dennis, oh, he pulls the trigger a little early, does handle it from there. And now Vega realize they just have to go forward. They have to attack this B bomb site, but actually, Forrest is falling back. This could be scary.
It's only Lekro at this stage, but he's going to be able to stand his ground and then some with 2 kills. However, the counteracting frags are coming into play. Rez, in the meanwhile, makes short work of Chopper, but it is down to JR, and he's been found by Dennis. So NiP hold on. Lekro deserves a lot of the plaudits for that round, though. His 2 kills were massive.
Deserves all of it. Forrest so far back, able to get picked off. If it wasn't for those 2 kills from Lekro at the start, I think that bomb site would have been overrun, even before those flanks were able to have impact. Either way, doesn't matter. NiP's got the round 6-13. Their first of this second half. And with the damage done in the previous round, they can't buy. All those nades and USPs and P250s did some damage to the money. So Vega is going to have to wait to fight. And now the ninjas start taking control of stairs. Get right about halfway down. He's got some backup. That's a bold fight to take for Crush. He's having a good game though, 18-9. Tied with JR at 18 as well. Tony Black, 1 behind at 17.
The worry for NiP, though, is they took some losses in that previous round too, so their funds aren't great. If they lose a couple of players, it could catch up with them. So far, so good, though, for the Swedes. 2 kills in quick succession.
For this kind of a start, they should be able to make this a clean round. Maybe not all 5 surviving, but they need to keep as many guns in their hands at the end of this as possible. This is a bold push up long. Especially, Dennis is there kind of supporting.
Oh, Rez, I was going to say, did he not see him? Just about in time. JR has been found. I believe he may have seen the bomb drop there as well. Drop from JR into the hands of Chopper. He's going to go the same way. And it is a flawless clean sweep by Ninjas in Pajamas, their 7th round.
5 kills for Dennis in these last 2. They would love to have him heat up. Mentioned Rez struggling throughout this tournament a couple times throughout this map. He's at 18 and 14, leading the way for the Ninjas. They absolutely needed that. Everyone else just playing solid. AK's on the board for Hutchie, Crush, JR, and Chopper. Tony Black is kind of stuck at 3,300, so he's going to get a P250. I don't quite know how to say Tony Black. It always feels like a powerful name. Tony Black.
I feel like it sounds like a gangster name or something. Like from The Sopranos, you know?
Yeah.
That P250 does mean he can afford more in terms of grenades, and Chopper already.
Ooh!
Just blistering pace out of short side. JR in the meanwhile is going to find Dennis.
Dennis is probably so mad that JR is playing that passively and just holding that narrow of an angle. Ooh, Rez, gotta be careful. There's some aggression at long as well. That's Get Right, but he's falling back pretty fast. He wants nothing to do with this battle. Ooh, JR again. Oh, he's gonna get a 3rd. Just death matching, and he's found 3 of the Ninjas, and that is exactly what you don't want.
That's how it felt watching it. It was like deathmatch. Ninjas running out one by one into his arms. Get Right may be able to find the flank onto him. He's just around the left side. Gonna find him now. Doesn't want to take any risks or gambles with a knife.
They have to see if they can fight for this round. Lekro, they can't really save here. They need Lekro to see if he can get anything out of this in this hit. Maybe 1 or 2 kills. They can give Get Right a favorable position in a 1-on-2. But they're both here. They can actually really hurt this take. That's a good opening. Get Right needs to be the next point of contact. They need to trade the aggression. Lekro's down so low. And look at him. Does he want to try and stop the plant? They faked it. They didn't hear him. He can do this. He's going to find the planter, but they both die immediately afterwards. 14 rounds for Vega.
You could see it may be happening, but unfortunately there was 4 players for Vega Squadron, just strength in numbers, too many to contend with. And the Ninjas now 7 rounds behind. And Vega 2 rounds shy of going through to their choice of map of train, a map to the good and an elimination match.
Ooh, that's a tiny pixel.
Spicy plays by JR.
How good was that round from JR? Unreal. That one hurt. Took a lot away. This is fast paced. There goes Lekro. He's the only defender of the B bomb site. This couldn't be more of a disaster.
Especially as the rest of NiP have been smoked off, so this is going to be free real estate. Get Right going to make a move in though, but the bomb is being planted. The other side of the smoke, he's not going to be able to stop this. The other side of the pillar, Forrest has found Chopper. Looking to vanquish, banish Vega Squadron off this site if they can. Going to be far easier said than done. Very passive positions being assumed by the likes of JR. Back outside the other side of Monster. Get Right, second best in that trade. Will get the Molotov kill. All the same, Rez goes in for 2, and now it's down to that man, JR.
It's not planted for him though. They can actually get this oh, he burns! They don't have any kits! That might have been the one. They're defusing it now. I think they should have it. It's going to be so close. Oh no.
Oh no, they don't have it.
No, the Ninjas! Oh, that is heartbreaking.
The Molotov, the last tick. Rez.
That's unreal. Well, Vega get away with one. It was actually, all things considered, a pretty solid retake, but just not enough money for a kit down the stretch, and Rez, just that last tick of the flames.
Can we
That'll take the wind right out of your sails.
It sure will. Can we light a candle in chat, please? Absolutely devastating, because as you say, the bomb was not planted. Rez was getting on the site. The last tick of the Molotov took him down. And now 8 map points to Vega, and again Chopper does not respect NiP at all. He's straight out there. Lekro though is going to hold the line alongside Forrest. And maybe there's some life left in the Swedes yet. They are a player up. Make that 2. Get Right decides to take the fight to Crush. And Tony Black on a measly 26 health is all that remains. His teammates have been pounded ahead of him. And fair play to NiP, they are going to hold on.
Those smokes actually ended up, I mean, you said it perfectly, not having any respect for NiP, just going for the straight rush, and once they get slowed down, the smokes that are set up actually help the Ninjas instead. Vega's having to run through their own smokes to try and find the kills. But you can afford to have a round or two like that if you're Vega, because you're so far ahead. Why not try and see if you can catch them off guard? I don't mind the call whatsoever.
Because again, now it forces NiP's hand to putting more Molotovs down, more smokes. They're going to have to waste valuable utility going forward if they can extend this towards overtime. It is overtime or bust at this stage.
What scares me the most about it is it does seem like NiP is playing pretty tentative. If you go back to the first half of how slow-paced their T side was, never really doing any kind of aggression, it seems like their focus is more on not making mistakes than trying to actually win this game. That is a botched fight for Get Right. That would have been a huge kill to have to open things up. And he's got to be worried about them surrounding him. He does have teammates in bathrooms to watch for this, but actually Vega's pushing up long rest spots. That can't find that kill. Good information for Vega of where the defenders are, and you could see they're falling back as a collective. The aggression doesn't work out for NiP. Back to the bomb sites we go.
Both teams regrouping to an extent, looking for round 2 to kick in. 50 seconds left. With connector control, Vega can poke and probe either of the sites. Maybe try and catch NiP in another rotation. That's a great start, though, for NiP in this skirmish. At least they have taken some of the pressure off, and there's another one, but JR does find Rez. That's going to be a weapon trading hands. He's going to join the rest of his team with the AK-47. But only 20 seconds here, Moses. I mean, surely Vega can't pull this off.
I'd like to think so. And indeed, Forrest and Lekro control that B bomb site. A 9th round for NiP. Starting to get close to those double digits, and it should be another round without too much heavy weaponry on the Vega side. One player, JR, at 4,300. Everyone else is at 3,000 or just below it. So I think they're just going to sit back. Maybe another half buy with Deagles and P250s and some utility. Still rounds to play with if you're Vega, but you got to be careful. We've seen some great comebacks in this event so far. Feels like a lot of teams have had more pressure applied when they have the opportunity of advancing rather than being eliminated. That nade slows him down in the fire. Oh my god. All right, Forrest is having a barbecue.
I can't imagine Shark tastes nice on a barbecue, though. But he'll take the 4 kills.
Never had shark, Vince.
I have to say I haven't either.
Is that even a thing you eat?
I feel like you probably can, yeah.
Okay.
Never had it personally.
I say Forrest just go hunt for this kill. Let him have the ace. Well, Get Right's an ass.
I'm sure Forrest is so focused on the game, he doesn't
yeah, he
care.
doesn't care.
Bit of a smile there. Good to see. But this is where the pressure starts to mount again, because Vega, they've had 2 pretty weak rounds in a row. Now it's the big guns.
Yeah, they got the AWP on JR. They've got the SG-553 with Tony Black's hands. We know that bad boy can dish out some punishment. Here we go. Aggression from NiP as well. There can be a huge skirmish here early on in this round. Dennis is going to be called upon with that AWP because Rez aggressive at Fountain. Dennis with the AWP is the one watching his back. You essentially are letting Rez take all the fights, fight to his death, and just make sure he only has to look in one direction. That flashbang, or excuse me, that smoke. A little off angle. Right behind this, there's the first. Peeks out to the other side, sees Chopper. Dennis peeks it with the AWP. Look at how they've rotated where they're watching. Perfect teamwork for Rez and Dennis. It's got NiP a 3-man lead in this round.
Off the back of aggression, this is what we've been waiting for. Vega with Tony and Crush. Gonna see if they can inflict some kind of damage, but the answer seems a resounding no. Tony Black will do well to get any kills from this encounter, and it's not gonna happen, so another flawless round. I don't think a single point of health was lost that.
No, that was so cool from
Super
Rez and
clean.
Dennis. That was so cool. That's probably not even a whole lot of communication. That's probably a pre-planned thing that Dennis, he's like, oh, you've taken a fight, I'm going to go peek there, help you out, and then Rez just turns when he realizes Dennis has set up the artillery for him. Another timeout for Vega Squadron. They have one remaining. One more to use in these last 4 rounds. NiP have got to win 4 more in a row to make it 8 straight to force overtime.
I'm beginning to believe now, I've got to say. These last few rounds have looked pretty solid.
You got that NiP magic feeling, Vince? It's starting to build its way up your spine?
I don't know if I'd go that far.
From your plums?
Well, they're only 4 rounds behind. This should be a freebie. Then they're really breathing down the necks of Vega. They still have 3 timeouts as well to use if they so choose it. We're going to go for a similar play with Rez this time peeking. Nothing forthcoming, so he backs away. I think at this stage, NiP have a good read of the economy. They know it's going to be against pistols. The last thing you want to do is get overrun as an AWP.
It helps that NiP have a lot of money built up as well. I think that might be why we start seeing a little bit more of that aggression from the Ninjas, is that they have some cash to sustain some losses and be able to rebuy in the future rounds. That certainly helps. And Vegas seem to have been tempered. This is perhaps the slowest we've seen them in this second half. Look how far back they waited until just under 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Peek over from JR. Can't see anything. There's a smoke there anyway. Haven't quite got into connector yet. Or the front portion of connector. I think Chopper is now starting to make a move. We saw some pretty tasty boosts in there just a couple of days ago. Landing some kills. I believe it was G2. With 35 seconds left, Vega have taken their sweet time to get to this point. Haven't really got any information for themselves. They do have some nades though, which are going to start to rain in towards the A side.
Dennis hasn't peeked out towards the passageway at all. There is a smoke blocking it, so I'm guessing he's assuming that there's players there already. Get right, is he going to get in front of this smoke? This A bomb site's about to be under a lot of attack. Dennis just holding an angle. That's a great flick down.
Excellent flick, does miss the second one, and now Vegas should be retaliating. They should be making a charge, but Get Right has no problem with that. His M4 will do the talking for him, and NiP pick up another one. That's what, 4 or 5 rounds in a row now?
Yeah, it's 5, so the full losing bonus in the favor of Vega Squadron. We shouldn't see too many more saves out of them for the rest of this half, especially if they're ever able to get into a bomb site and get a plant, but that's been tough. The previous 2 rounds, NiP hasn't dropped a player. And they actually come back all the way.
Solid work by Get Right. Yeah, I mean, the way these last 5 rounds have been going, it's looked pretty simple for Ninjas. Double ups were in play, but Dennis is going to be taking it now. Early on, NiP did have some presence in connector, but they're going to piece out of that. Felt a bit too hot to handle. Don't want to give any lives away now. Not they've battled so valiantly to pull it back.
This position from Forest could be interesting. I think they need a second player here to help them out. Obviously, they can't know that, but there's 2 players in the underpass, in the staircase. Yeah, Lekro's going to join up to watch Forest back. 2 players in bathroom, Rez and Dennis. At AWP and Dennis hands. Covering each other. We saw him do it so well at Fountain just a couple rounds ago. Courtesy flush.
Flash in, but didn't follow it.
I don't think Chopper saw Dennis with that jump over. He saw him with that one, though. Rez is going to get aggressive behind that. That's bold. He's got the Molotov to cover the position. Oh, what kind of a play is Rez going to make here? I don't think Chopper has any idea. Beautiful. Nice find on the pick. Oh, he's going to go up the stairs. He's going to try and do more. That might have been too much. Crush patiently waiting.
Could have been a round-winning play. Instead, now gives a bit of a chance, but the bomb has been dropped in an awkward, horrendous position for Vega. And that is a round-losing moment.
The Ninjas have woken up. This has been a great run, perhaps the best we've seen them play this whole map. It's now going to be 6 rounds in a row. JR has no chance. Save the AK. He's not going to get any of that full losing bonus. It's alright, he can buy utility behind that, plenty of it if his teammates want to buy, and I imagine they would. This has got to be frustrating if you're Vega Squadron. 15-7 at one point, now 15-13.
Could be going the full distance. Who would have thought? One point it looked like an impossible task. But yet here we are. NiP once again, resilient, tenacious.
That's all the timeouts for Vega as well, by the way. If this goes to overtime, they have nothing to use. NiP, on the other hand, have 3. And obviously, if you're NiP, you're not even thinking about using a timeout right now because you've won 6 in a row. Just keep doing what you're doing. They haven't figured out a way to stop it. You've mixed in some aggression, you've mixed in hyper-aggression, and, you know, just the aggression to take a shot and fall back. Seen Rez go for this spam and up shot towards, ooh, I thought that was going to do it.
It looked very close. I mean, the other scary prospect for Vega is that the last 6 rounds, they haven't got a bomber down. There's no diffuses, no bomb plants.
Yep.
They've been just completely shut out. They could not have been any more clinical from the CTs.
Well, here we go. A lot of utility. Oh, get right. That flashbang probably scared him. That probably felt like that was going to be the hit. Doesn't... Force is actually did force out a decent amount of counter nades out of NiP. There's still 4 smokes, 3 Molotovs, and plenty of flashbangs. This is going to be a pretty deadly B hit. Force, Get Right, and Lekro have a big job to do, and they've only got a Molotov and a flash to do it with. It is just against pistols, but we all know 1 kill comes out early for Vega, and that could allow them to just run over this bomb site so quickly.
They also do have the AK-47 in the very trusty hands of JR. Has already done a boatload of damage over the duration of this match. Waiting to initiate the execute. Oh, Vega. Time starting to dwindle. Here we go. They're pushing the button. Foot to the floor. JR is going to be going in first. Can he get the entry they so desperately require? It will be one of the pistol players. Get right. Aggression through the tunnels is not going to work. And Monster will be his tomb. In the meanwhile, Vega Squadron with a player to the good and now moving to the site and will be getting that bomb planted. Oh no, they won't. It's denied. Tony Black gets blown up.
That's done so much damage. JR and Chopper are just a hit away from going down. NiP must have this retake. It's been a beautiful half from them so far. Chopper waiting inside the smoke. It clears. Trying to find an opponent. It's not going to happen. Just crush, and they're waiting so patiently. So far back is NiP. Nothing coming for Vega. 14-15, NiP playing for overtime.
How many people out there would have thought this would go the full 30 rounds?
Certainly not when they saw it 15-7. This has been a phenomenal comeback from NiP. Another chance for Vega, though. They still have that full losing bonus. They found a way to get into that bomb site and get the bomb planted, so they have everything they could possibly want. They have the AWP and JR. He's missing 2 nades, but that's it. Otherwise, everyone is fully kitted out. Same with NiP, and how fitting is that? One last round where everyone has what they need.
First bomb plant in 7 rounds. So much on the line. Elimination will be occurring for one of these teams. And Vega were on the brink of getting first blood on the map pool, but instead, maybe the Ninjas can take us to overtime. As he said, Moses, the weaponry for both teams is looking very good. Some damage done. Chopper and Crush puts them in the 1-tap range of the Orc now. That Get Right has.
That's a very narrow angle for Rez, designed to get information. They can get pretty close in bathrooms, though. Dennis is peering down it with an AWP. NiP playing very passive this round, no information. They're trying to save some utility for the hit that's surely going to come. They just don't know which bomb site it is. Now starting to creep out of the A site. Smoke towards long is telling. You can see the 3rd player at B, Get Right, playing the rotator. Good opening kill from Dennis. That's huge.
Again, Vega using all of their allocated time to get even close to the site. 25 seconds. Not much information gathered. Very little utility left too. Just the Molotov in the hands of Hutchie. There is going to be a tsunami of sharks making their way over towards the A side. Is it going to get shut down? So far, so good. Dennis is holding it off, but now Chopper and Tony Black, last two remaining players, and the Ninjas have taken us to overtime.
They've come all the way back. What a brilliant run for NiP. 8-0 down the stretch to force overtime. You have got to be stunned if you're Vega Squadron. You had this match sewn up. It didn't even seem like NiP were really in it. Rez with 27, Get Right and Forrest with 22, Dennis with 21. Those are the guys down the stretch. I mean, Get Right, and obviously that triple kill in the last one, but Dennis was great with the op and also finding the information. Here's Get Right coming through the smoke, and simply not enough bodies for Vega Squadron to watch that kind of a play. Here we are, first round of overtime. 3 rounds per side, $10,000 start money if you're new to the overtime rules at the CSGO Majors.
And once again, the team sides have so much value. Both teams only mustering 5.
Forrest has done that to him a couple times, and it finally gets him some results. Finds the opening kill on a chopper. What a no better time to have it happen. 5-on-4, Dennis with the op. Oh, he was playing with the scope. I'm not quite sure what that was, and Hutchie surprises him. That's a stunning shot.
Excellent shot. Vega Squadron starting to make a move down, connect to the bomb. He's dropped towards T-spawn, though. It's going to take a few seconds to get back there and pick it up. It looks like Crush is the man to do it. There's JR, though. He's pounced on Forrest. That's 2 losses they've sustained on the A side. It's going to be very weakened.
Yeah, and NiP is going to have a decision to make. You can see Get Right's rotating back towards A, and even Lecro's backed off of that B site. They want to be able to rotate quickly if that hit was going to come in behind the pick. But with that kill onto Dennis and so much time on the clock, it was a lot for JR to just have the freedom to peer into that bomb site. NiP, if they want to find out where this is going to come from, it almost feels like they have to make some kind of an aggressive play. At the moment, they're stacking the B site, but it's the wrong call. And JR is about to get all this information with the op. He's going to see absolutely nothing. And I imagine with the money working the way it does in overtime, that NiP, if this bomb goes down, that they might just save. If the CT side loses the first 2 rounds of overtime, they will be completely broke in the third. They have to be careful about this.
It seems that they are going to go for it, though. Jason, they're throwing the Molotov out, hoping that Hutchie walks into the crosshairs of Rez, and that's exactly what's happened. And with the loss of Hutchie's life, we now move to a 3-on-3. Rez has taken other quality and thrown it away, giving NiP the advantage in this retake, and now it's down to Crush. Can't quite flick across for the second, and NiP, with a beautiful retake, will give them the lead. That was the first time in ages.
That was so sick, and this coordination that NiP's brought out in these last 9 rounds has been insane, something we didn't see in the entirety of the first half. The Molotov from Bank to force that truck player into the open. Just beautiful, all things considered. Great job. And I think NiP, I mean, this is the first lead they've had since winning the pistol in the first, 3 rounds in that first half.
Yep, they've been trailing pretty much this entire map so far. What a time to take the lead, though. In the overtime, and as you say, I mean, their economy was up in the air. If they lose all those guns there, they are in a bit of an awkward spot.
I'm wondering what the decision would have been if they didn't get that first kill, right? If Rez doesn't find Hutchie with that Molotov kind of swinging out, I'm wondering if they would have called for the save from there. Certainly if he had gone down instead of getting the frag, they would have just backed away, but I mean, I guess in overtime and when you're facing elimination at the major, you got to be a little bit more bold with your play calling.
I feel that's as a result of winning all those rounds in a row, like the confidence building.
Yeah.
I feel like if that happened after the first half, NiP definitely would have saved. They'd have been in a position where they kind of got in their own heads and thought, now we can't do this. But now, you've won so many in a row, you're feeling almost invulnerable, you go for it.
Feeling like superheroes.
Then why not, right? Like, they've won so many rounds, 15-7 to overtime, you win the first round in overtime, you feel like things have really turned a corner.
Don't get overconfident, though.
That's the thing. We talked about this. I feel like it was on the B stream. It's about a balance, isn't it? confidence
Yeah.
versus talking yourself out of place. But of
Greece
course,
time coming to an end. I'm not sure what this extended pause was.
I think Chopper may have DC'd.
Okay, so technical pause.
Yeah. It seems like it has came and gone, and we're ready to jump back into the action again, or maybe not.
Nope, they're going to get another restart, it looks like.
Yeah. But on the other side of that coin, you know, we're talking about NiP and how great they're going to feel. Vega have just conceded 8 map points. They've got to be feeling absolutely devastated at this stage.
Yeah, I would imagine so, I guess. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. It seems like Vega is asking for a restart. No damage done, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue, but... yeah, players, keyboards off. Or hands off the keyboards. Well, quite a game we've had to start out this day. We have plenty more coming. There's 2 more best of 3s after this.
Yeah, G2 Fnatic.
G2 Fnatic in the next game, that's exactly right. Cloud9 Furia to end the day. Those are all elimination matches. So 3 of the teams, 3 of the 6 will be going home today.
A lot of ex-major winners are going to be going home today.
Yeah, they're going head-to-head, aren't they? With Fnatic and G2. That'll be a wild game. I mean, this day between NiP, Fnatic, G2, and Cloud9, you know, a lot of people had those teams going through.
Sure.
And I think it's kind of just a story of teams who have not shown what they're actually capable of.
It's definitely a fair statement. I think for me, the biggest disappointment has been Fnatic, really, because I think a lot of people would have had them going 3-0. Got a steamroll through the group, and, well, they lost to Vici in their very first game.
I'm not going to lie, Vince. I think my biggest disappointment is G2, and I didn't even have high hopes for them to begin with. It feels bad saying that. See if they can rebound today.
I think we're getting progress. Some players picking up weapons.
Yeah, this is going to be live. Now we're back. We're back, baby. Thanks for sticking with us all week and through the technical pause today just now. Dennis going to be aggressive. Hutchie staying a bit far back. No aggression in the stairs for NiP. They're backing away, but more spam coming through and close a hole in the door. Remember, of course, in that previous round, that first round of overtime, got a spam kill just at the angle he just did. JR is trying to maneuver with the double scope.
Just looking for that pixel to protrude around the corner. But NiP, judging for their positions, have no interest at all. They do have a triple stack on B. One of which was Get Right, and he has been found very quickly by Tony Black.
That's going to make Dennis want to get aggressive with this AWP, try and find the equalizer. The nade scares him away, though. Not Rez. Rez has information. He's a bit stuck in that position, though. Ooh, Lekra wants the aggression. Tony Black sees it. Unfortunate timing for that kind of a push. Dennis again to follow up. Gotta be careful. Oh, he's cleared the hard corner. Oh, that's missed timing. Do they have anything to get him out of there? I don't think they do. There's no smokes. There's just flashbangs. He's gonna have to fight his way out. Flames behind him, spreading now when he pushes forward. Rez goes down at long. It's all on Dennis. 22 health and far too advanced position. They know exactly where he is. He's going to go down. The question is, can he get anything before he dies? I think the answer is going to be no. JR is going to finish him off. 2 defenders here at A. Still a chance for NiP.
13 seconds though. If they just get a couple of kills to start things off, it's get interesting, but Forrest feels the pressure. He has to push out there in the tight claustrophobic angle, and in doing so, Vega will get him down 16-16.
That was a 9-1 run for NiP, or 9 round straight. And Vega finally just stopped it, going all the way back to regulation. That's our first round in so long.
Turning the heat back on the Ninjas once again. It was a bit of an awkward round, as you say. Like, Dennis was just kind of stuck in the middle of nowhere, didn't really have any support. No one was there to help him out.
When that pick goes down on Get Right, you can tell they feel like they have to make an information. They at least have to know what's coming so they can rotate in a man-down situation. Unfortunately, they couldn't find that, and when Dennis gets stuck there, they just don't have the utility. Rez was pushed out towards long, and that's the real problem, is those two players at A. Dennis getting aggressive in bathrooms, Rez out towards long, no ability to work together. That defense just got spread thin. Another chance here, and look at Tony Black. Success in the previous round, not this time. I think he actually gets a dink through the wall. Forced down to 17, but he's going to win out on that fight. So now a man advantage just barely for NiP, but it all counts.
No players from Vega Squadron, though, occupying mid or the A side. This is where Rez could start to make moves from bathroom. As soon as the call comes through that it's B, expect Rez to make a move very, very quickly. He needs to, at the very least, help his teammates out. Here comes Chopper in the meanwhile. Already onto the site. There isn't a great deal of nades. They don't have HEs to deal with this bomb right now. There is a flashbang, and Forrest tries to push behind it. But Chopper is going to be there to deliver the fatal blow. Hudgy decides to push. That's going to reward him with 2 kills, but there comes Dennis. Org in hand, 2-on-2 now. Anybody's round. We will favor Vega Squadron in this post-plant, especially as Rez is tagged up heavily. It's just gone a whole lot worse. Rez, 19 health. Not able to get it done, and Vega Squadron will lead going through into the second half of overtime.
Well, they figured something out during the break into OT, because their T side was demolished by NiP in regulation. They find themselves with 2 rounds in the overtime. That is a huge benefit. And NiP, their offense was nothing to talk about either. That was it'll be interesting to see if their style changes based off having such a huge run in that second half, and maybe building up some confidence, maybe warming up into this match. Rez has hit 30 frags in this game. Struggling coming into today, he's stepped it up.
89 ADR for Rez, 91 for Forrest, has 7 assists to his 25 kills. Meanwhile, JR, 27 frags, 85 ADR. So pretty evenly dispersed between the two teams, but Vega do have the edge, and especially considering they're now on the CT side. Will be Crush. Thought he was going to go aggressive down connector, thinks better of it, he will scurry away. Tony Black actually by his lonesome on long, no one's helping him out. They have gone for this before, where JR was on the flower bed with the AWP.
Yeah, he was the lone wolf on this T side. Remember, he's the one who got that pick on Get Right from Sandbags, and he also took that duel against Forrest through Monster in the very next round of overtime. So he doesn't mind being all on his lonesome. It's a stack out towards long. Does Forrest clear this way to the left? He's making plenty of noise. There's the jump, and that's an easy reaction for Tony Black. Even sees the shoulder. Good trade from Rez, but he's going to go down immediately afterwards. They weren't expecting the second player, and oh, Dennis, half second away from being able to take a shot. 3-on-4 for NiP.
Shaky start to the round, though, for the Swedes.
They have not been able to find a whole lot of success to start out their T sides, have they?
It just doesn't feel like they've got any real entries on their T side. Constantly getting barraged by Vega Squadron with picks from the AWPs, the Orgs.
Well, we saw it at one point in the first half. Dennis and Rez had lost 100% of their opening duel attempts.
Hudgy and JR will be called upon. 15 seconds. Time ticking away. The ebb and flow of this round favoring the Sharks. And JR is going to chip in with a kill. Hudgy just needs to wait, really. There's plenty more Vega Squadron players coming in now. Get Right can't get it done. The last man standing, no more. And Vega Squadron will have 2 more map points.
NiP briefly had a lead after the first round of overtime, but it's been ripped away. 3 in a row now for Vega. And they've got 2 chances to close this match out again. This will be their 9th opportunity to close out the map. Remember, they were up 15-7 before NiP went on that massive run. So Vega have no excuses for dropping this map.
Especially as now they're on the CT side. They were always chasing that win, trying to get across the finish line on the T half. Now they're on the CT side where they had so much more efficiency. And we asked a question, we kind of posed this just before we got into overtime. Would NiP be more aggressive on the T half now? Doesn't seem like it.
They're going a little bit faster, but it doesn't seem like it has a whole lot of aggression to it. Staircase getting cleared out at the very least by Lecro. That's a position of the map that Vega always had control of in the first half. Not this time. It's a very deep passive setup from the defense. No one even attempting to fight towards bathrooms. That AWP in JR's hands is going to be at the A bomb site. He steps forward and Forrest finds both kills. That's massive. JR stepped into his fallen teammate's place, but look at this play from Crush. We've seen him single-handedly hold on to this bomb site before. This could be massive. They will not expect this.
Has to go aggressive, otherwise he would have been all alone, but now the cavalry is arriving. There's still 50 seconds left, though. They can't afford to over-rotate, so Hudgy is going to stay on B. Oh, Crush felt it. The red mist descended, but it's going to cost him his life, and Forrest gets his third kill of the round. Chopper's going to get one and pull back. Waiting for Hudgy to make a move. 2-on-4 retake. There is a kit, but no grenades.
That's going to be the tough part. A pretty staggered setup for the post plant from NiP. Get Right's going to be the next one to peek, but he's dropped immediately. There is still a Molotov on Lecro for the bomb. There it comes. No chance to even tap the bomb. They've got to get aggressive, and Dennis trying to find his timing, and he's got it. 2 quick headshots. 17-18. NiP staying alive still. 3 opening kills from Forrest with that AWP. And remember, they never had money when they were on offense in the first half. We didn't get to see NiP play with the AWP on their terrorist side.
Cool stat up there. Forrest has won 7 out of his 10 opening.
That'll make up for Resin Dennis, kind of struggling in that department, but they're going to need more of it. Certainly with the AWP, you can see him go back to it. He was feeling so confident that last round. He was trying to entry with the AWP.
It's going to be hard to rinse and repeat and emulate that play again, though. Vega are going to be a lot more tuned in on it.
Look how aggressive Vega is on the map this time, trying to suffocate NiP the way they did previously.
Leaves JR by himself on B with the AWP. Now the smoke is cleared, he can have a quick peek across and see if he can find a player. 2 players in connector, looking like they're right next to each other as it stands. Crush is there, and Rez and Lecro just below him. Will be making a move in. Crush's position is spot on, his crosshair placement even better, and the spray matches it. Vega Squadron now on a 5-on-2 to claim this map. And Forrest has been smoked out, they've got control of the bomb. It doesn't get much worse than this for NiP.
No, it really doesn't. No utility use in the attempt to clear out that staircase, and that just makes it so easy for Crush. This backstab from Dennis needs to have impact, but he's obviously going to wait for the smoke to clear, but I don't even think it's going to matter if this flank is coming in slowly but surely. Forrest is burning. He's going to come down the ladder. That's going to be an easy kill, and it's a wipeout. Vega Squadron, they take map 1. It took so long. They had 10 map points, and the 10th one is where they get it. NiP certainly backs against the wall. They had an amazing comeback, but just not enough. When we